Love's last lie, a riveting cheating wife story emerges. Viora fam, brace yourselves for a drama that'll sear your soul. Hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Viora for stories that pulse with raw emotion. This cheating wife story is a wildfire of betrayal, heartbreak, and quiet strength. I caught her whispering his name in the dark at 2 a.m., her voice a soft caress that wasn't meant for me, her breath warm against the pillow we shared. I'm Nathan Carter, and this is my cheating wife story, a saga of love dismantled by lies, trust shattered by secrets. The worst wasn't the name Elliot, a ghost from my past. It was the way she sighed, a sound of longing she hadn't given me in years, a theft of intimacy that left me hollow. Let's rewind to the life we built, the one I thought was unbreakable. I'm a documentary filmmaker in Austin, Texas, my days spent chasing stories that peel back the world's layers. My wife, Elise is a marketing consultant, her blonde hair catching sunlight, her blue eyes sharp enough to sell dreams to skeptics. We met 9 years ago at a film festival, her critique of my short documentary, too raw, she said, sparking a debate that ended with her number scrawled on my program. Elise and I became Nathan and Elise, the couple who lit up rooms. Our ranch-style home in the hills was our sanctuary, filled with the laughter of our son, Owen, now 10, his curly hair and curious eyes a mirror of us both. Mornings were chaos, coffee brewing, Elise teasing my overcooked eggs, Owen stealing bacon from my plate. Nights were ours, stargazing in the backyard, her head on my shoulder, the Texas sky endless above us. I'd scroll through Reddit cheating stories late at night, shaking my head. Betrayal wasn't our story. Loyalty was our vow, etched in every touch, every shared glance. Or so I believed. The first cracks appeared 7 months ago, subtle but sharp, like splinters under skin. Elise's late-night calls grew frequent, her phone a fortress behind a new passcode. Client deadlines, she'd murmur, her smile tight, her eyes sliding away from mine. She started wearing a new perfume, jasmine and amber, unfamiliar, clinging to her like a stranger's touch. Her laughter, once a melody in her home, faded for me but sparked during hushed calls, her voice low and warm in a way that made my chest ache. I'm not the jealous type, never was, but when your wife's warmth dims for you and flares for someone else, doubt creeps in like fog. I told myself it was stress, that I was reading too much into her distance. But this cheating wife story began with a whisper I couldn't silence. The tension simmered, but it was Easter dinner that set everything ablaze, a moment that redefined humiliation. Elise's sister, Vanessa Reed, hosted at their family's sprawling estate just outside Austin, a place of manicured lawns and old money. Owen and I arrived, him in his best button-down, me carrying a bottle of wine I'd chosen with care. The table was a vision, crystal glasses, spring blooms, honey-glazed ham fragrant in the air. But as we sat, Elise and Vanessa exchanged a glance, their lips curling in a shared secret. "No silverware for you two," Vanessa said, her voice syrupy with mockery. "It's a fun tradition." She handed Owen and me empty plates, no forks, no knives, just our hands. The rest of the family, cousins, aunts, Elise's mother, Margaret Hayes, used gleaming utensils, their eyes glinting with amusement as they watched us. Owen's small hands hovered, his face flushed with confusion, looking to me for answers. I forced a smile, tore a piece of bread with my fingers, and ate, the food ash in my mouth. Inside, I was raging, not just for me, but for my son, forced to endure their cruelty. This wasn't a prank, it was a wife betrayal confession, a public declaration that we were less in their eyes. We left the estate in silence, Owen clutching my hand, his questions unspoken but heavy. That night, as he slept, I paced our living room, the humiliation replaying like a bad film. Then I found it, a manila envelope slipped under our front door, no label, just wait. It was from Margaret, Elise's mother, a stern woman who'd always backed her daughter's whims. Inside was a USB drive and a handwritten note, "I've stayed quiet too long. This is the truth. Use it wisely." My pulse raced as I plugged the drive into my laptop. Audio files loaded, dozens of them, spanning years. Vanessa's voice, sharp and cruel, calling me the help behind my back. Elise, laughing, dismissing me as temporary, a placeholder for the family image. Worst of all, a recent clip, Elise, her voice sultry, talking to a man, Elliot Pierce, my college friend turned tech CEO, now her client. "Nathan's blind," she said. "You're the one who keeps me alive." My stomach lurched. This was my infidelity story time, a truth I couldn't unhear. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I backed up the files, stored them in an encrypted cloud, and let the evidence settle like a storm in my chest. The next morning, Elise was all smiles, kissing my cheek as she left for work, her perfume sharp, her eyes distant. I played the part, loving husband, doting father, but inside, I was a filmmaker scripting a new story, one where truth was my weapon. This cheating wife story wasn't just about her affair, it was about years of disrespect, of being diminished in my own home. The first twist came a week later when I checked our home security cameras installed after a neighbor's break-in. I'd never used them before, but desperation makes you a detective. At 1:30 a.m. 3 nights before Easter, Elise slipped out, her car's headlights cutting through the dark. The footage tracked her to an upscale downtown loft, Elliot's address, I later confirmed. She returned at 4:15, her hair tousled, her steps light as if she'd left her guilt behind. Caught cheating on camera, the evidence undeniable, each frame a wound. I watched the clip on loop, my coffee cold, the house silent except for the hum of betrayal. I wanted to scream, to shatter her facade, but Owen's face, his trust, his need for me kept me grounded. This wasn't just my pain. It was his future. I dug deeper, my filmmaker's instinct kicking in. Elise's laptop, left open one evening, was a goldmine. Emails to Elliot, laced with flotation, spoke of weekend getaways disguised as work trips. One message, sent the night she claimed to be at a conference, read, "Miss you already. Last night was fire." My hands shook as I screenshot everything, each word a brick in the wall of her lies. A receipt in her purse, crumpled but telling, confirmed a candlelit dinner at a rooftop bar, just the two of them, dated the night she'd texted me about team bonding. The clues piled up, each one a spark in the tinder of my anger. This true cheating story was no longer a suspicion, it was a reality I couldn't escape. The second twist landed like a thunderbolt. I ran into Sarah, Vanessa's assistant, at a local coffee shop. She'd been at Easter, her eyes downcast as Owen and I ate with our hands, her discomfort palpable. "Nathan," she said, pulling me aside, her voice low, "you need to know something. Elise and Elliot have been together for months. I heard them at the office, planning to phase you out after the holidays." My blood ran cold. A wife affair exposed, not just an affair but a calculated exit. "Why tell me now?" I asked, my voice barely steady. Sarah's eyes were fierce. "Because Owen doesn't deserve their games. And neither do you." I thanked her, my mind racing, the weight of her words a lifeline in the chaos. That night, I sat in my editing room, the glow of my monitors casting shadows. I replayed the USB audio, Elise's voice mocking me, Elliot's laughter a cruel echo. I wasn't just a husband anymore, I was a man with a mission. I remembered a lottery ticket I'd bought on a whim, checked weeks ago, $60,000. It wasn't a fortune, but it was a message. I sealed it in an envelope with a note, "Take your luck. You'll need it when the truth comes out." I handed it to our housekeeper, Clara, a woman whose quiet warmth had seen me through Elise's coldness. "Give this to Elise when I say," I told her. Clara's nod was steady, her eyes knowing. "You're doing the right thing, Mr. Nathan." This wasn't a gift, it was my husband revenge story, a silent vow that I'd reclaim my dignity. The next morning, I poured Owen's cereal, his chatter about school a balm to my wounds. Elise rushed in, her briefcase in hand, her smile a practiced lie. "Big pitch today," she said, kissing Owen's head, barely glancing at me. I watched her go, her heels clicking, her perfume trailing. She thought she was winning, untouchable in her web of deceit. But I had the USB, the footage, Sarah's warning. This cheating wife story was mine to direct, and the climax was coming. I started planning a gathering, not unlike the brunch in the original story, but sharper, more deliberate. I'd invite Elise, Vanessa, Margaret, and a few others to our home, a space I'd made warm for Owen. I'd play the audio, let their voices, mocking, cruel, fill the room. I'd show them the footage, let Elise see herself through my lens. But I wouldn't yell or beg. I'd stand tall, for Owen, for me, and let the truth do the talking. Margaret's envelope was my script, and I was ready to shoot the scene. As I sat at my desk, the Austin skyline fading into dusk, I wondered what Owen would think years from now. Would he see me as weak for staying silent so long? Or strong for choosing truth over chaos? I'd read enough cheating stories on Reddit to know confrontation could backfire, but this was different. This was about protecting my son, rewriting our story. The USB hummed on my desk, a quiet promise of justice. The Austin night pressed against my editing room windows, the city's glow a faint echo of the fury burning inside me. Elise's voice on Margaret's USB, calling me temporary, laughing with Elliot Pierce, played on loop, each word a splinter in my heart. The Easter dinner humiliation where she and Vanessa forced Owen and me to eat with our hands had been a public wound, but the security footage of her sneaking to Elliot's loft at 1:30 a.m. returning with tousled hair and no remorse was a private annihilation. This cheating wife story wasn't just about her affair with my old college friend, it was about a life I'd built on lies, a marriage where I'd been cast as the fool. The $60,000 lottery ticket, sealed in an envelope with Clara, was my opening move, but I wasn't done. I needed to peel back every layer of Elise's betrayal to see the full script of her deception before I directed the final scene. Elise moved through our home like a ghost, her smiles rehearsed, her kisses mechanical, her jasmine amber perfume a constant reminder of the stranger she'd become. I could have confronted her, played the USB, shown the footage of her 4 a.m. return, her steps light with forbidden joy. Caught cheating on camera, the evidence was ironclad. But I held back, my filmmaker's eye seeking a narrative arc, not a brawl. I wanted her to feel the weight of her lies, to see her own reflection in the truth I'd expose. So I waited, my pulse a relentless drum, my mind a camera capturing every frame of her deceit. I started with Elliot, digging into the man who'd stolen my life. His social media was a curated lie, tech CEO, philanthropist, all sharp suits and sharper grins. A post from the rooftop bar, dated the night of Elise's team meeting, showed him raising a glass, Elise's silhouette in the background, her head tilted in a laugh that used to be mine. The caption, "Tonight's that burn." My stomach churned. This wasn't an emotional cheating story, it was a public flaunting of my erasure. I scrolled back, years back, to our college days and found a photo that stopped me cold. Elliot and me, arms slung around each other, Elise between us, her eyes locked on him, a spark I'd missed then. The caption, "Friends forever, loves that linger." My breath hitched. Had this wife affair exposed been scripted before I ever proposed? The first twist landed like a grenade. I accessed Elise's cloud storage, guilt prickling but overridden by necessity. Her photo backups were a betrayal in pixels, Elliot at client dinners, his hand brushing hers, Elise at his loft, her smile too intimate. One image was a dagger, a selfie of them in a hotel room, her lips grazing his cheek, timestamped during her conference weekend. My vision blurred, the room tilting. This true cheating story wasn't a moment of weakness, it was a parallel life she'd crafted, a role where I was the extra, not the lead. I saved every file, my hands trembling, each snapshot a wound I couldn't close. I kept up appearances, filming interviews by day, reading to Owen at night, his questions about Easter, why didn't Mom stop them, Dad? Cutting deeper than any lie. I promised him silently to protect him from this toxic relationship story, to be the father he deserved. Elise, meanwhile, grew reckless. Her client calls stretched into the night, her phone buzzing with texts she'd answer in hushed tones, her eyes daring me to challenge her. I didn't. I was a documentarian, collecting evidence, emails, receipts, footage, building a case not just for my heart, but for Owen's future. The second twist came from Margaret, Elise's mother, who'd sent the USB that cracked my world open. I met her at a quiet diner, the kind with chipped mugs and sticky counters, far from her family's polished estate. She slid a small recorder across the table, her silver hair catching the fluorescent light, her face heavy with shame. "Nathan, this is new," she said. "Elise and Vanessa plotting against you." My pulse spiked. I played it later, alone, Vanessa's voice venomous, "Will paint Nathan as neglectful, unfit." Elise gets Owen, and Elliot steps in. Elise, cool and calculated, it's already in motion. Nathan's too soft to fight. My blood roared. This cheating wife story wasn't just infidelity, it was a conspiracy to steal my son, to rewrite me as the villain in my own life. I backed up the file, my resolve a steel beam. Margaret's betrayal of her daughters was my shield, but it came with a weight. I had to wield it carefully. I started shadowing Elise, my camera bag a disguise, my heart a war zone. One evening I followed her to a boutique hotel downtown, the same one from her selfie. She met Elliot in the bar, their fingers intertwining, her laugh a melody I'd lost. I snapped photos from across the street, my lens capturing what my soul couldn't bear, her ease, her joy, her choice. The images were stark, a wife cheating confession in high resolution. Driving home, the Austin lights blurred, my mind torn between confrontation and strategy. Should I show her the photos? Burn her world? Or wait, let her weave her own noose? The third twist hit the next morning. Clara knocked, holding the envelope I'd entrusted to her. "Ms. Elise refused it," she said, her voice gentle. "Said she doesn't need your charity." I stared, stunned. Elise had rejected the $60,000 lottery ticket, my calculated strike. Was it pride? Guilt? Or did she sense the trap? Clara's eyes softened. "You're stronger than this, Mr. Nathan. For your boy." I took the envelope, my throat tight, a strange clarity cutting through the fog. The ticket was mine again, but her refusal was a riddle. Did she know I was closing in? That afternoon I went to the rooftop bar, needing to stand where Elise had chosen him. The city sprawled below, the air heavy with her perfume's ghost. I ordered a bourbon, the burn sharp, and wrote in my journal every lie, every slight, every moment I'd let pass. Easter's humiliation, her coldness, her plot with Vanessa. This wasn't just a husband revenge story, it was a mirror to my own complacency. I'd loved her too much to see her clearly, and now I paid the price. When I got home, Elise was packing, her suitcase open, her movements deliberate. "Work trip," she said, not looking up, her voice a blade. I watched the woman I'd vowed to love, now a stranger in our home. "How long?" I asked, my tone neutral. "A week," she replied, zipping the bag, her eyes flickering with something fear? Defiance? I didn't call her out. "Travel safe," I said, turning away, the USB in my pocket a quiet vow. She thought she was free, but I was rewriting the script. The fourth twist came that evening as I helped Owen with his homework, his laughter a fleeting light. My phone buzzed, a text from Laura Pierce, Elliot's wife. "Nathan, we need to talk. I know about Elise." My heart stopped. Laura, another victim in this web, had found me. How? What did she know? The message glowed in the dark, a new thread in this infidelity story time. I typed back, "Tomorrow, noon, Bluebird Cafe." Another player was entering the frame, and the stakes were soaring. I spent the night planning the brunch, my stage for the truth. I'd invite Elise, Vanessa, Margaret, and a few others to our home, a space I'd filled with love for Owen. I'd play the USB, show the photos, let their own words, mocking, plotting, hang in the air. Not to destroy, but to protect, to show Owen his father fought with truth, not anger. Margaret's recorder was my voiceover, the footage my montage, and I was ready to roll. As dawn broke, I stood in our backyard, the stars fading, the air cool against my skin. I thought of Owen, sleeping upstairs, and the life I'd built for him, free from Elise's games. This cheating wife story had broken me, but it was also waking me up. Laura's text was a wild card, and I didn't know her role yet, ally or complication. But I was done being the victim. The brunch was coming, and with it, the truth. Laura Pierce's text, "Nathan, we need to talk. I know about Elise," glowed like a warning in the pre-dawn quiet. The Austin air cool against my skin as I stood in our backyard, the lottery ticket envelope heavy in my pocket. Elise's refusal of the $60,000, her plotting with Vanessa to take Owen, and the USB's damning audio had armed me. But Laura's message was a new frame in this cheating wife story, a twist I hadn't scripted. Elliot's wife was stepping into the narrative, and I needed to know her role, ally, victim, or something else entirely. The brunch I'd planned, where I'd expose Elise and Vanessa's lies, loomed tomorrow, but Laura's words shifted the lens, promising a reckoning I wasn't fully prepared for. I met Laura at Bluebird Cafe at noon, the diner's hum a stark contrast to the storm in my chest. She was striking, dark hair, sharp eyes, her poise frayed by pain I recognized. "Nathan," she said, sliding into the booth, her coffee untouched. I found texts, Elise and Elliot, months of them. Her voice was steady, but her hands betrayed her, twisting a napkin. I nodded, the weight of our shared betrayal settling between us. "I know," I said, and told her everything. The USB, Margaret's recorder, the hotel photos, Elise's 4 a.m. returns caught cheating on camera. Laura's eyes darkened. "He lied to me too," she said. "Said it was work stress, not her." She showed me a screenshot. Elliot and Elise at a gala, her hand on his arm, his smile proprietary. "I'm divorcing him," she declared, her voice firm. "What about you?" I didn't have an answer. Part of me wanted to burn Elise's world at the brunch, to play the audio and watch her crumble. But another part, the part that remembered Owen's laughter, our stargazing nights, wanted to understand why she'd chosen this. Was it love, escape, or a flaw I'd ignored? This husband revenge story had fueled me, but Laura's resolve made me question. Was revenge enough, or was I fighting for something greater? The first twist hit that afternoon, as I prepared for the brunch. I called Elise, my voice calm despite the fire in my veins. "Come to the house tomorrow, 11 a.m., bring Vanessa and Margaret. Family brunch." She hesitated, her tone wary. "Why?" "Kept it light. Just want to clear the air after Easter." She agreed, her voice tight, and I hung up, my hand steady. But then I checked the USB again, diving deeper into the files Margaret had sent. A new audio file, buried in a subfolder, stopped me cold. It was Elise, not with Elliot, but with Vanessa months ago discussing me. "Nathan's too good for his own good. If he finds out, we'll ruin him. Owen's ours." My blood froze. This wasn't just a cheating wife story. It was a calculated war, with my son as the prize. The brunch wasn't just a reveal. It was a battlefield. I spent the night setting the stage. Our dining room, warm with Owen's drawings on the walls, became my studio. I loaded the USB audio onto a speaker, cued the hotel photos on my laptop, and tested the projector to cast Elise's betrayal in stark clarity. Clara helped, her quiet strength a reminder of why I fought. "For Owen," she said, arranging flowers on the table. I nodded, the envelope with the lottery ticket in my desk, its role unclear. Would I give it to Elise, a final jab, or keep it, a symbol of my reclaiming? The brunch morning dawned bright, the Texas sun mocking the storm inside me. Owen was at a friend's, safe from the fallout. Guests arrived: Elise, Vanessa, Margaret, a few cousins, their chatter filling the house. Elise's smile was polished, but her eyes darted, sensing a trap. Vanessa strutted in, her smirk a mirror of Easter's cruelty. Margaret, pale but resolute, gave me a nod, her recorder in her purse, her allegiance clear. I served coffee, my hands steady, my filmmaker's calm in place. This was my scene, and I was ready to direct. As we sat, I raised a glass. "To family," I said, my voice even, "and to truth." The room stilled, Elise's fork pausing midair. I pressed play on the speaker. Vanessa's voice filled the air. "Nathan's unfit. We'll take Owen." Then Elise, "Elliot's ready. Nathan's a phase." Gasps rippled. Vanessa's face drained. Elise froze, her eyes wide. I switched to the projector, hotel photos flashing, Elise and Elliot undeniable. "This is my cheating wife story," I said, my voice low but firm. "Years of lies, mockery, and now a plan to steal my son." The room erupted. Vanessa slammed her glass down, shattering it. "You're pathetic," she spat. Elise stood, her voice shrill. "You don't understand." But Margaret rose, her presence commanding. "I understand," she said, "and I'm done protecting you." She turned to the guests. "My estate goes to Nathan and Owen. Elise, Vanessa, you get nothing." The second twist was chaos. Elise lunged at Margaret, screaming, "You traitor!" Vanessa threw a plate, shards scattering. I stayed calm, my eyes on Elise. "I didn't need to ruin you," I said. "You did that yourself." The guests fled, Vanessa's curses echoing, Elise's sobs a hollow sound. Margaret stayed, her hand on my arm. "I'm sorry, Nathan, for all of it." I nodded, the USB still playing, a loop of their downfall. Clara slipped me the envelope, but I didn't give it to Elise. It wasn't hers anymore. That evening, alone, I sat with Owen, his rocket model between us. "Is Mom okay?" he asked, his eyes searching. I hugged him, my voice steady. "She's finding her way. We're okay." But I wasn't sure. Elise had vanished, her suitcase gone. No note this time. Vanessa's threats, lawsuits, smear campaigns, hung in the air, but Margaret's support, her estate in Owen's name, was a shield. Laura called, her divorce filed, her voice strong. "We're free, Nathan. What's next?" I didn't know. The brunch had been my stand, but the cost was heavy. My marriage, my trust, my old self. The third twist came a week later. Sarah, Vanessa's assistant, emailed me a video, her apology attached. "I should have told you sooner." It was Elise, post-brunch, on a call with Elliot, her voice broken. "You said you'd leave her, Elliot. You lied." His laugh was cold. "You were fun, Elise. That's all." My heart twisted. Elise hadn't just betrayed me. She'd been betrayed, a pawn in Elliot's game. I didn't pity her, but the truth shifted something in me. This infidelity story time wasn't black and white. It was a mess of human flaws. I met Margaret for coffee, her eyes warm as she spoke of Owen's future. "I'm teaching him piano," she said, smiling. "He's my second chance." I nodded, grateful for her redemption, her choice to stand with us. The lottery ticket stayed in my desk, unclaimed. I didn't need it to win. I'd won by choosing Owen, by choosing truth. I started a new documentary, one about resilience, inspired by this true cheating story, a way to heal through storytelling. One night, under the Texas stars, Owen asked, "Dad, did Mom ever love us?" I paused, the USB's weight still in my memory. I think she did, in her way. But love isn't enough without kindness. He nodded, his hand in mine, and we sat, the sky vast above us. Elise was gone. Maybe with Elliot, maybe alone. I didn't need to know. Laura was rebuilding, Margaret was family now, and Owen was my North Star. This cheating wife story had broken me, but it had also freed me. Viora fam, what's your call? Was Nathan right to expose Elise? Or should he have let her go quietly? Would you keep the ticket or give it away? Comment below, hit that like button if this moved you, and subscribe to Viora for more tales that spark your heart. Tell us, how would you heal from a betrayal like this? Let's talk.